For more than a year, Donald Trump has been the people's champion, and tonight he is once again their candidate. But what about Ivanka Trump? Take another look. Behind the designer heels and perfect smile lies a billionaire life built on ambition, controversy, and a cold, calculated kind of power. She isn't just Donald Trump's daughter. She is his polished, unstoppable legacy. From secret deals in the West Wing to a $400 million empire stretching from boardrooms to fashion catwalks, Ivanka played the game, and she played to win. Get ready to uncover 8 shocking truths about her rise to the top. The last one will leave you speechless. As Donald Trump mounts his 2024 re-election campaign, many are asking, where is Ivanka Trump? Once hailed as her father's female counterpart, she wasn't just a familiar face on the campaign trail. She was a power in her own right. Known for her sharp drive, unshakable calm, and prominent role as a senior White House advisor, Ivanka carved out her place at the decision-making table long before headlines named her the favorite Trump child. At just 19, she made Forbes' list of America's favorite daughters. By 2017, she was one of the world's most powerful women, not just in the White House, but shaping it from the inside. She was born into gold-plated privilege, but nothing was handed to her. Ivanka Trump, born in 1981 to Donald and Ivana Trump, the glamorous Czech model and Trump's first wife, grew up in a Manhattan world paved with marble floors, private schools, and designer childhoods. She shared her upbringing with her 2 brothers, Donald Jr. and Eric, and later with half-siblings Tiffany and Barron from her father's subsequent marriages. Yet despite the opulence, Ivanka was taught a hard truth early on. Luxury doesn't come free. Donald Trump paid for her tuition and basic living expenses, but everything else, she had to earn it. Modeling during high school wasn't a choice born of vanity, it was survival. She strutted down runways and posed for Tommy Hilfiger ads while maintaining a spotless academic record. And when she graduated from the University of Pennsylvania in 2004 with a degree in economics, fluent in French and conversational in Italian, she was already laser-focused on building her own empire. Her first job wasn't sipping lattes at Trump Tower. It was rolling up her sleeves and proving herself. Ivanka began her professional career not with a silver spoon, but with a clipboard. She worked as a retail project manager at Forest City Ratner, a real estate development company in Brooklyn. It was a humbling position that demanded long hours, real grit, and results, not family name. But just a year later, she joined the Trump Organization. And when she did, she didn't just inherit an office, she earned a title. Ivanka quickly rose to become Executive Vice President of Development and Acquisitions, not because she was Donald Trump's daughter, but because she was sharp, relentless, and had her father's business instincts pulsing through her veins. She played a pivotal role in negotiating a jaw-dropping $1 billion deal to acquire Trump National Doral Miami for just $50 million. Alongside her brothers, she helped transform the Trump Hotel collection into a global luxury brand. And through it all, she wasn't just in the boardroom, she was in the trenches. Her style was polished, her confidence effortless. But behind the grace was a strategist, a force. Ivanka's elegance came with calculation. Inherited from her mother, Ivana's poise and European charm, Ivanka combined that with Donald's commanding presence and unshakable drive. Her negotiation skills were more than natural. She had trained for them since childhood, absorbing boardroom conversations the way other kids absorb cartoons. In 2014, her sharp business acumen earned her a coveted spot on Fortune's 40 Under 40 list. And that same year, the World Economic Forum named her a young global leader. But Ivanka wasn't done. She wanted to prove she was more than her father's deputy. In 2007, she launched her own lifestyle brand, one that mirrored her polished image but was rooted in real ambition. Jewelry, shoes, handbags, and fashion, with the unmistakable Trump edge. Her empire grew fast. By 2010, her shoe line became a runaway success, carried in department stores across North America. She was no longer just Ivanka Trump, the daughter. She was Ivanka Trump, the brand. She wasn't just selling luxury, she was living it, molding it, making it her own. Ivanka's brand wasn't built on fame alone. It was built on perception, precision, and relentless discipline. While others saw the glamour, Ivanka saw spreadsheets, logistics, market gaps. Her fashion line, boots that meant business, dresses that whispered power, was a message. Women could be feminine and formidable at once. She knew the balance. She embodied it. But the runway wasn't the final destination. As the political spotlight turned to her father in 2015, Ivanka quietly stepped away from her thriving business to enter a world far less predictable, the White House. And not as a figurehead, but as a voice, a woman with a seat at the table. No longer behind the scenes, she stepped into the glare of the most watched stage on earth, and did it with a poise that felt rehearsed yet deeply authentic. Inside the White House, she wasn't just the president's daughter, she was one of his most trusted advisors. At meetings with world leaders, during policy discussions, at moments of chaos and calm, Ivanka Trump's presence was both striking and strategic. She carried herself with the elegance of a diplomat, the composure of a veteran, and the intuition of a daughter who knew her father better than anyone else. She wasn't there because of her last name. She earned her space with sharp insight and a rare ability to translate emotion into action. No one understands him like she does, aides would say. And it was true. While critics questioned her role, Ivanka quietly shaped initiatives on women's empowerment, entrepreneurship, and global development. Her office was filled not with glamour, but with binders, drafts, and late-night memos. She worked the long hours, took the tough meetings, and bore the public scrutiny with a serenity that was almost impossible to imitate. She wasn't just cheering from the sidelines. Ivanka was in the war room, helping to shape the 2016 campaign from the inside out. Behind closed doors, while the media focused on the spectacle of Donald Trump's rise, Ivanka was quietly guiding strategy, tempering rhetoric, and offering counsel that few others dared to give. She advised her father on optics, how to appear presidential, how to connect with suburban women, how to soften edges without losing impact. She even weighed in on potential vice presidential picks and helped steer key decisions that would later reshape the Republican Party. When Trump finally secured victory, it wasn't just his name that won, it was a family effort, and Ivanka was at its center. In that moment, she didn't just step into a new era, she stepped into history. By the time her father became president, Ivanka was no longer just a businesswoman or a style icon. She was a full-fledged political force. Despite the outcry over nepotism, she was appointed senior advisor to the president and took on a formal, unpaid role in the White House. Alongside her husband, Jared Kushner, she moved to Washington, D.C., stepping into the high-pressure cauldron of both domestic and global diplomacy. But even before her title was official, she was already attending high-level meetings, engaging with foreign dignitaries, and shaping major policy initiatives. Media outlets couldn't ignore her growing influence. The New York Times even remarked she held more power than any first daughter or presidential aide before her. To many, Ivanka wasn't just part of the administration, she was the administration's calming center of gravity. While Melania remained reserved and enigmatic, Ivanka took center stage, poised, articulate, and politically influential. She wasn't just the first daughter by birth, she became the de facto first lady in many ways. From campaign rallies to West Wing strategy meetings, Ivanka often filled the space that Melania left quiet. But Ivanka was not just famous. She had long been a vocal advocate for women's empowerment. In 2010, she co-created the Girl Up campaign with the United Nations, using proceeds from her signature bracelet line to fund global programs for girls. She pushed for more women in STEM fields and launched initiatives aimed at economic inclusion. Her 2017 book, Women Who Work, offered both practical advice and a new perspective on modern womanhood. Through the Ivanka Trump Foundation, she poured resources into educational programs and vocational training, blending elegance with impact. Her influence extended far beyond photo ops and red carpet glamour. Ivanka became the human face of her father's administration. While critics called the Trump White House chaotic, Ivanka brought balance, poise, and an almost shocking level of composure to the storm. As first daughter, she symbolized the next generation of Trump leadership, and some even believe she might run for office herself one day. Yet, in a stunning twist after her father left office, Ivanka didn't stay in the spotlight. No farewell speech, no final rally, just quiet. family, peace. She stepped back, away from the whirlwind of U.S. politics, in a move that both shocked and intrigued the world. Their marriage wasn't just a union of two hearts, but of two dynasties, and the result was pure power. Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner, both born into privileged, ambitious families, seemed destined to collide. To many, their romance appeared inevitable. But behind the polished exterior was a story far from ordinary. As Jared later revealed in his memoir, Breaking History, their love didn't spark at a gala or socialite ball. It began at what was supposed to be a simple business meeting in 2007. But instead of dry corporate talk, the two fell into effortless conversation. No pretense, no performance, just a connection. One lunch turned into another, and before long, their lives intertwined in coffee shop chats, shared dreams, and unspoken understanding. In a decision that stunned many, Ivanka made a profound choice. She converted to Judaism for the man she loved. After a year of dating, religious differences had briefly torn them apart. But fate, as if scripted by destiny, brought them back together during a luxurious yacht vacation hosted by Wendy Murdoch, ex-wife of media mogul Rupert Murdoch. It wasn't just the ocean breeze or the glittering lights of the water. It was the undeniable bond that reignited their love. This time, they didn't let go. And in a gesture of love, of lifelong commitment, Ivanka began the rigorous process of Orthodox Jewish conversion. It wasn't a formality, it was a journey of devotion. In October 2009, she and Jared said "I do" in a lavish ceremony at the Trump National Golf Club in Bedminster, New Jersey. Surrounded by 500 guests and bathed in candlelight, it wasn't just a wedding, it was the birth of a partnership built on faith, family, and fierce loyalty. Nearly 15 years have passed, and Ivanka and Jared remain unshakably united, balancing public life with private devotion while raising three beautiful children: Arabella Rose, Joseph Frederick, and Theodore James. From their early days sneaking out for coffee dates in Manhattan to walking the polished halls of the White House, their love story has never been ordinary. But it was in their shared commitment as parents that their bond deepened most. They built a home where bedtime stories matter just as much as boardroom strategies, where family dinners remain sacred even amidst political firestorms. Jared once said, "Our best investment is our children." And for Ivanka, motherhood isn't a break from ambition. It's a legacy in motion. Behind every school run, every whispered prayer at night, and every photograph she posts from their sunlit family weekends, lies a choice to put family first and to build something far greater than fortune, a lasting foundation of love. Born into wealth in Livingston, New Jersey, Jared Kushner was raised in one of the most influential Jewish families on the East Coast. By the age of 30, he had already taken the reins of Kushner Companies, a multi-billion-dollar real estate investment empire, with his personal net worth estimated at over $200 million. Jared wasn't flashy. He didn't hunger for headlines or chase the limelight the way Ivanka had mastered. Instead, he was the mind behind the moves, calm, methodical, unshakably composed. It wasn't just real estate he mastered. Jared became one of the most trusted advisors to Donald Trump during his presidency, especially when it came to the most sensitive and complex issues in global diplomacy. From orchestrating historic peace agreements in the Middle East to negotiating back-channel dialogues with international leaders, Jared's portfolio resembled that of a diplomat more than a developer. While critics debated his qualifications, few could deny the magnitude of his influence within the West Wing. Unlike Trump's larger-than-life presence, Jared operated almost invisibly, yet with astonishing efficacy. His calm demeanor and laser-sharp focus offered a stark contrast to Washington's chaos, making him a rare, stabilizing force in a world that often spun too fast. Jared Kushner's influence didn't stop at politics or real estate. It extended deep into the upper echelons of Silicon Valley, Wall Street, and Hollywood. Through him, Ivanka gained access to a glittering world of power brokers, billionaires, and innovators. This wasn't just privilege. It was proximity to the most influential people alive. Jared's inner circle included titans like billionaire investor Leon Black, a man whose past ties to Jeffrey Epstein stirred controversy, as well as tech moguls like Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg and Google's Larry Page. And Ivanka? She adapted seamlessly. A social chameleon, she moved easily between worlds, from policy meetings in the West Wing to private dinners with Oprah Winfrey or exclusive galas hosted by the Kardashian-Jenner clan. These weren't just social appearances. They were calculated connections. Ivanka knew how to play the game and play it well. Her friendships were more than social currency. They were a strategic blend of influence, image, and intent. Among the most talked about connections was her enduring friendship with Kim Kardashian. As Kim began working with the Trump administration on criminal justice reform, their alliance grew deeper. Two media powerhouses bonding over more than just fashion. They vacationed together. They appeared at high-profile fundraising events. And in those elite circles of American celebrity, Ivanka and Jared were not guests. They were hosts. Step into Ivanka Trump's $24 million dream home in Miami, and you're stepping into a world of deliberate luxury, tucked away on the ultra-exclusive Indian Creek Island, often dubbed the Billionaire's Bunker. This waterfront estate is not just a house, it's a statement. Before moving in, Ivanka and Jared reportedly spent $32.2 million on a nearby empty lot, once owned by Julio Iglesias. But it was this villa that captured their hearts. The estate reflects a seamless fusion of old money sophistication and modern glamour. The crown jewel? A sprawling resort-style pool surrounded by carefully manicured greenery and calming water features. It's more than a backyard. It's a wellness retreat, a sanctuary where power pauses for peace. Ivanka often shares serene moments from this oasis on Instagram, meditating under palm trees, watching her kids laugh barefoot on the sleek stone tiles, or hosting candlelit birthday dinners beneath a sky full of stars. Inside, the dining room looks like it was lifted straight out of an Architectural Digest spread, a blend of European opulence and minimalist serenity. Her wardrobe, a personal vault of elegance. Tiffany, Dior, Hermes, more than accessories, they're armor. Ivanka doesn't just wear luxury, she curates it. Her jewelry collection is a museum of timeless pieces, including a $75,000 Tiffany diamond necklace, a delicate 18K gold Elsa Peretti bangle, and a bold rose Vence Dior pendant worth $30,000. Ivanka Trump's home is not about showing off, it's about showing who's in control. Quiet luxury, calculated choices, everything in her world whispers influence. And here, far from Washington, among the salt air and polished stones, she is not just a former first daughter. She is the queen of her own empire. When Ivanka Trump steps into a room, every detail whispers power, especially what she wears on her wrist and what she drives. Her accessories are not mere adornments. They are declarations. Her style speaks fluent luxury, and her collection of watches, jewels, and cars is nothing short of spectacular. This isn't about extravagance for the sake of it. For Ivanka, each item is carefully chosen, a blend of status, meaning, and legacy. Among her prized possessions is the Rolex Day-Date President, an 18-karat yellow gold statement of timeless authority valued between $40,000 and $50,000. Another classic, the Date Just 36 with a diamond bezel, effortlessly elegant at around $25,000. But she doesn't stop at Rolex. Her Cartier collection includes the Blue Ballon, with its signature sapphire crown and bejeweled face, as well as the striking white gold Panther, a watch valued at nearly $40,000. These aren't timepieces, they're power plays. And then there are the cars, symbols of motion and power. Ivanka doesn't just sit in the back seat of black SUVs, she drives. Her garage boasts a Dodge Ram, a $160,000 beast that defies expectations for a woman of her class. It's not a soccer mom car, it's a statement of strength. Then there's the GMC Yukon, a $270,000 executive class SUV with room for 8 and style for days. She was spotted behind the wheel earlier this year, sunglasses on, kids in tow, effortlessly powerful. Not to be outdone, she also owns a $275,000 Chevrolet Suburban, bold, sleek, and commanding, and the crown jewel of her car collection. a Mercedes 220 SA Ponton, a vintage sedan now worth nearly $250,000. Classic curves, timeless grace, modern empire. Ivanka Trump doesn't flaunt her wealth. She embodies it. Every diamond, every gear shift, every tick of the clock is a reflection of how far she's come. Her arsenal of elegance is built not just on inheritance, but intention. And that's what makes her story resonate. Not just opulence, but ownership. While Ivanka dazzled in the spotlight, Jared Kushner mastered the shadows. A man of few words but decisive influence, Jared didn't need loud speeches or press conferences to make his presence known. He operated where power is quietest but most potent, behind closed doors, in strategy rooms, at the crossroads of politics, diplomacy, and billion-dollar business. Born in 1981 into one of the most powerful Jewish families in the Northeast, Jared grew up surrounded by wealth, legacy, and expectation. By 2015, he was already helming Kushner Companies, a real estate empire valued at over $7 billion and managing a personal fortune estimated at $200 million. But those numbers were only part of his story. His real influence was just beginning. As Donald Trump stepped into the Oval Office, Jared Kushner stepped into history. He wasn't just a son-in-law. He became a senior advisor to the President of the United States. And not by accident, Trump trusted Jared with the most sensitive, high-stakes issues of his administration: Middle East peace, criminal justice reform, U.S.-China relations. These weren't side tasks. They were legacy-defining missions. While critics questioned his experience, few could deny his results. Jared was instrumental in negotiating the Abraham Accords, a series of groundbreaking peace agreements between Israel and Arab nations. He also engaged deeply in modernizing government tech infrastructure and even served as a bridge between Trump and Silicon Valley's elite. Yet through it all, he remained elusive, silent, polished. Jared rarely gave interviews. He wasn't seen ranting on television or trending on social media. Instead, he cultivated an aura of mystery. While Trump shouted, Jared whispered, and sometimes the whisper moved nations. His relationship with Ivanka was more than marriage. It was a true political alliance. Together, they balanced each other, her charisma and social power, his discretion and calculation. She walked the red carpet, he walked the back halls. She charmed the cameras, he charmed the negotiators. This was not the life of a mere advisor. This was the life of a kingmaker. And Jared Kushner, for all his silence, may have shaped more of America's recent history than we realize. Power doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers behind golden gates, wrapped in palm leaves and ocean breeze. When Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner quietly stepped away from Washington, they didn't vanish. They evolved. And where did they retreat to? Not to a hideaway, but to a kingdom. Their new sanctuary, a $24 million waterfront mansion in the ultra-exclusive Indian Creek Island, Miami. Nicknamed the Billionaire Bunker, it's not just a home, it's a statement. Before moving in, they stunned the real estate world by purchasing a $32.2 million plot of land from none other than Julio Iglesias. But it was this mansion that captured their hearts, where modern opulence meets timeless elegance. The estate boasts panoramic ocean views, spa-style pools, marble finishes, and lush gardens meticulously curated like a scene from a fantasy. It's more than a residence, it's a lifestyle, curated, calculated, and quietly extravagant. Ivanka now fills her days with family, wellness, and quiet moments under the Florida sun. Her Instagram is less politics, more palm trees. Gone are the policy meetings, replaced by paddleboarding with Arabella, reading with Joseph, laughing with Theodore. She hasn't abandoned influence. She's simply redefined it. Inside the mansion's private dining room, which looks straight out of Architectural Digest, Ivanka hosted her last birthday. Surrounded by candlelight, white flowers, and the people she loves, she looked more peaceful than she ever did in D.C. It wasn't about stepping away from power. It was about stepping into purpose. The 75,000 Tiffany necklace, the 40,000 Dior rings, the Cartier watches and Mercedes classics in her garage. None of it was ever just about wealth. For Ivanka Trump, these are tools. Symbols of taste, discipline, and yes, legacy. A silent empire built not only on name, but on nuance. And in that $24 million dream home, she's still building. One choice at a time. Ivanka Trump's story isn't just a tale of fashion runways and White House hallways. It's the saga of a woman born into power, who learned to master it with grace and then chose to walk away with her head held high. She didn't need applause to validate her worth. She had already redefined it, from Manhattan penthouses to diplomatic meetings in Riyadh, from the spotlight of political campaigns to the quiet gardens of Indian Creek. Ivanka has lived multiple lifetimes, all in the span of 4 decades. She has been a daughter, a mother, an advisor, a mogul, a symbol, and a woman of paradox. Both public and private, glamorous yet grounded, privileged yet persistent. She has been called the president's daughter. But make no mistake, Ivanka Trump carved her own name into history. And maybe that's the most powerful legacy of all. Not what she inherited, but what she built. As we close this final chapter, we're left with more than headlines. We're left with questions, with awe, and perhaps with inspiration. Could Ivanka return one day? Will she run for office? Or has she already said everything she needed to in silence? And now it's your turn. What do you admire most about Ivanka Trump? What surprised you the most about her journey? Do you think she's done with politics, or is this just the calm before the next storm? Let's talk in the comments. I read every word you share. If this journey moved you even a little, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell, because more stories like this are coming. And together we'll keep exploring the lives behind the headlines. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being part of this story. We're not just telling a tale, we're honoring a legacy.